back in the garage. I still don't have a car that works. Well, it works, but it's not driftable. On the last video you'll see, which if you haven't, it's somewhere up here if I can make a clicky thing. The radiator blew up. Well, it started, a hole popped out in it. So there's no radiator in there. I've got one getting made. That's going to take a few days. So I've got to do something else in the meantime. So what I'm going to do is get an alignment. Now, I'm not doing an alignment myself first time to start with. There's so much to adjust in that thing. I just want to get it right. So I am taking it to a guy called Mark Illand. He drives in the BBC. I think it's Pro-Am he's in. Anyway, so we're going to go and see him. But before I do that, I'm going to put a present that I bought for myself on the car. Probably bought about 9 months ago when I thought my car was ready to go. But then the SR blew up because I'm an idiot and didn't build it right. So I got my PC coilovers, and it's the ER ones. So I'm just going to open up the box and find out what it is, because I actually haven't opened the box yet. It's been 9 months, but I've managed to not because of all those other stuff to do. Right, so let's see what we've got. Right, what we got here. These must be good because look, they've got like Japanese writing. That's a good thing. And stickers. Give me good stickers. BC Street Circuit. Anyway, these stickers and Japanese writing. I think it's Japanese. Probably wrong with me. Right. Right. Well, I'm guessing each one of these is going to have a coilover in it. Right. Well, let's put one down. Watch it. Oh, bag of watches. We have rear. I think it's rear. Yes, that's a rear. Oh, look at this. External reservoirs. Oh, adjustments. Oh, the wee adjustments at the top. Right, one of those. Right, put that there. Oh look, there's the other adjustments down the bottom. Doing the clicks. Yeah! Look at that. All the gold. Adjustable top mount. Which pretty much most of them have anyway. Oh, external reservoirs. Right, anyway. So, now, before I do this and just throw them on, I need to do loads of stuff. I need to dismantle everything and grease it all up, as a professional once told me. Right, time to dismantle my perfectly good suspension. So the reason I'm doing this is just to make these are going to last, and so they're easier to work on. I'm the person who's going to have to, when it comes to adjusting these things, I'm going to have to do it. So what I'm wanting to do is just like loosen these off, get some copper grease on it, get under here, get some grease in there, just so like things can all move about freely, and it's all like there's going to be nothing binding. So you could just throw them on, but like it's going to jam up and stuff, and like things get manky, and there's going to get crap in there, and so I'm going to go, and I'm also going to be changing the springs out, but we'll get to that later. First, I'm just going to dismantle this. first thing I'm going to do, take these down, then get all the compression off the spring, and then I'll take the top off, and then I can get the spring out, and then I can put the new spring in. Right. So just remember before I get going, what I'm going to do is measure everything. So when I put it back together, I know where everything should be. So what I'll do, measure from there to there. That's 100 mil. So I'm going to go draw a picture. 220. Done. So I need to get this nut to do that, though. Just super easy. Just there's this threaded bit here. Undo that. Here we go. That's that adjuster off. Now we need to undo this nut, but to do that we're going to need to hold it straight. Put this in here, and then I don't want to twist it too much. It's not working. Next option, and rattle gun it off. There we go. And get the top off. Right. We got that. This spring holder. That is pretty much all apart. Goes in there. Now, what I'm gonna do is just basically, copper grease all this stuff up. I want to swap that spring, but also I just wanted to see, like, what you can see is here. So that sits over there, right? Now, when you actually take it out, that's the length of the suspension travel, it seems like, because that's just going to be where it impacts if you go too much. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to measure what that distance is, and that distance, just so I've got a note of it, and then when I'm setting up the ride height on the car, I kind of know how much the wheel should move up and down. Right, so that's 90 and that's 40, so you got a distance of 90 between there and there. Okay, so 90 millimeter there, and then 40 millimeter there. Now I want to just take this part out of the bottom. Now to do that, all I need to do is just unbolt these. They're already tight, so it just means that moves. So as when you unthread this, you end up with, oops, can you see that? This is joined to the bottom of here, so you want this to come up, and if it's tight, it's just going to hold this down, so it makes it different. You'll bend stuff. So, right. What I've just found out is, like, so you can actually only unscrew the shock a certain amount, because you might be able to undo things to make that, but I don't really want to go to that level. So what I'm going to do is I just thread it back down, and I'm going to grease these bits up a bit, and then thread it up and unscrew it a bit more, so the bottom half of the shock is going to be greased up, because if I unscrew it, it only unscrews up to here, and then I can't get to the threads in there. So yeah. So I have just taken out this is the shock that was in it. It was HSD. They were fine. They were just old, really old. So they're past it. I had to put something on that was good, real good. So but the reason I'm taking these off, just to have a look at the difference. Like, you can see the difference in this. Look how solid that is, deep that is compared to that. Now, I'm also just trying to get them, put them side by side so I can, this kind of worked. This, you know, is a good height, right height. Like I've got Geomasters on the car. It like takes the, I think it's 50mm, it raises the hub. So I end up having a lot, the shot runs like pretty much on its max setting. So that's what I'm finding with this as well. That's me max, and like I can't raise that anymore. I don't know, I think I'm a wee bit shorter than here, but maybe once I add these on, I might be, so I just know that I need to run it at max. So now to get the new springs out. So that's the spring I took off, which is a 6K, and now what I'm going for is a 4K. And I think the reason you can tell difference is the number 4, 6. So I'm rebuilding with a 4K. The reason I'm doing that is I've been speaking to a few guys, and I want to try and set the car up with as much rear grip as possible. I might be doing this wrong. It might be too much grip. I'm hoping that, like with maybe some other alignment settings, that if it is too much, that I can maybe take that out. But the plan is to run as much rear grip as possible. And if it works, it works. It doesn't, stick some 6Ks on and see where that goes. But I'm starting with 4. You can see I'm just like getting copper grease in the where all the surfaces mate up. So when I come to have to undo these again, it's not going to be jammed. It's time to reassemble things. Right, first of all, just a little bit in here, so this bad boy doesn't get, what are you called? And start sticking. Slip that on. Plastic, that's the first plastic spring perch. And what I'm also going to do, I've loosened this off a lot, so this will be well past the point where the bottom of this sits. So I'll put the spring in next, and then see it's sitting right down past there. So put that on after that. And the next thing is this bad boy. That sits in there, so you probably can't see. So that sits on there. So what I'll do, let's get that a wee coating. Just make sure this is all done as well. And then slide that down and over. Next bit is this bit. It's going to be sitting in. It's got to have this top bit sitting on there. I want to also double make sure that everything's, so I'll get in there, get that all good, and then it's going to be a case of slide that over. And last thing is this again, that bit goes down inside there, just to be sure, a little bit more, and I'll put some just in on the threads, so when it threads down on here. Now I need to nip this up, so I need to use this as a lock. It would help if I use the right sized one. That is locking, and then just give it a alright more. That's that good. Right. So now we need to set the preload. So again, what I'm going to do is just get some copper grease in here. can clean this up a lot afterwards. All this copper goes everywhere. So, because what I need to do is we need to tighten this up, and then we've got to put 4mm of preload on it. So this means this is going to screw up a bit more. So what I want to do is make sure I've got plenty of that in place. So now what I've got to do is take this top perch, and I'm just going to keep turning it until basically it's hand tight. I shouldn't be able to turn the spring anymore. So there we go. Right, now what I've got to do is I've got to put 4mm of preload on here. Now to do that, what I do is I take this bad boy right up, screw it up to the bottom of here, and hey presto. Now what I need to do is I need to take this. Now that distance of this spanner is 4mm. So what you do is you tighten this up just enough until your spanner fits in between it. So not quite. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit too much, so let's just take it off a touch. So it's snug. It's going to be snug. There we go. Perfect. And then tighten up the bottom. And then it's a case of lock them off. So you get a small one and the big one there, and then keep tightening that small one up, and she's done. One more thing before it goes back, just to put that in. Right, that's ready to go in a car. There's a downward angle on those, but this looks really rigid. So I just tap it just to see if it'll slide on. So it wasn't fitting. That was, the angle was too low. So what I've just done is I've just adjusted the suspension. This was too far out. Pulled that in. That's brought it kind of up and like that. And then I pushed the top out as well. So just kind of leveling it off. And then I managed to get a bit more. And now I can get a nut and a washer on it. And that should pull it on the rest of the way. Right. Fed. So, last thing to do, I've maxed out my how much travel I can get. So these are like, this is as high as I can get the car. Last thing to do now. Oops. Lock that off. Well, I'm not going anywhere. Now, just test the wheel, see how it fits. There we go. That looks sweet. Loads of space. I had to lock this off, but otherwise, done. So just 3 more to do now. I've done them all now. So those are the front set. Now it's exactly the same process. I just stripped them all down, greased everything up. The only difference is that one has a 19mm nut there. So that's 19mm, whereas the rears are 17. So I'm just going to get them all stuck on the car now. And the other thing I've done is I've just set these to max height as well, just to see what it is on the car. I probably should have I haven't pulled the other ones off just to double check, but I just want to see what the max height I can get out of it is, and work back from there. There's just a quick comparison between the two. So these are the ones I've just taken off. What model are these? So they're the HSDs. I don't know what model it is, but you got like the adjustment in the bottom there that never worked. So these are longer than these. So my wheels are going to sit, it's going to be a bit lower at the front. Yeah, these are maxed out as far as the height goes. So let's stick them on, see how it looks. That's a wheel on, coilovers in. What I've noticed is that I might have a wee bit of a impacting there, so I've hammered this back a bit and just put some what do you call it, primer over it, just to keep it good. Right, next time is going to be going for an alignment. Okay, bye bye.